All right, welcome everyone to the Eve Growing Concepts. Today's video is going to be a series of videos. We're going to be talking about the so-called no-nos. And I want to dedicate this series, which I'm going to call Poo. Poo is personal organic outputs. So when I say poo, think of personal organic outputs, not only two, because most people, when we talk about poo, we think of number two. But when I talk about poo, we're going to be talking about ones and twos. All right, and this video is going to be dedicated, of course, to Joseph Jenkins and his amazing work about composting all the no-nos. So as this video plays out, I'm going to try to narrate as best I can. It's going to be a little longer than 3 minutes, and I'll be uploading it on my YouTube channel, which is Eve Growing. Eve, again, is the acronym for Eco-Vertical Evolution, combining both soilless growing with traditional farming for a growing experience like no other. So this video, first video of a series of videos that I'll be doing, is how I've been processing my own poo. All right. First of all, this isn't for everybody, composting poo. It's for people who may not have the luxury of defecating in our water supply, in our drinking water. So it's for those who don't have traditional plumbing, right, where we do defecate and send our poo to our drinking water, which is kind of crazy in its own right. And I think this holds tons of possibilities as far as composting our poo. So I hope you enjoy the video. Looking for any feedback. I know it's a very touchy subject. I've talked about this in my YouTube channel. I don't get too many views because it's a touchy subject when we're talking about our personal organic outputs. I think it holds great potential when we all understand that all is sacred, nothing wasted. So here we go. All right, folks, I've been processing my own poo with a system I call Vernmenting that I designed with it, whereas you pack the bin, add your red wigglers, and you set aside for a certain amount of time. 4, 6, 8 weeks, it's completely done. But 4 to 6 weeks is what this bin is here. And the rolls that aren't done get put back into another bin to kind of inoculate it, if you will. And so right there is a bin that's probably 4 weeks old. So they didn't get through all the rolls, but we have to understand that red wigglers, when you put a composting roll in there, which these 2 rolls are, it's a composting roll in all intents and purposes, right? They eat from inside out. So they go inside, they eat the number 2 in there, and then they eat the moist paper, and eventually it all gets turned into worm castings. And this is a fresh bucket of 2 rolls that I'm going to put on top of the material that wasn't quite complete. So I'm adding some of my rolls on top of here. I'm dealing with 2 10-gallon bins. At one time I was doing 4 6-gallon bins, but this is enough for one person. 2 10-gallon bins. So, 8 bins for a family of 4 type thing. Plenty of room. And again, I've been doing this in my basement with no smell and no unwanted vermin. So now I'm going to get another bin because I'm juggling 2. I want to put all my material into one bin. So now I'm opening this one. Now this is probably 2 weeks old that I packed this one. And it should go a lot longer, but again, I want to put it all into one bin. So some of these rolls aren't quite complete. The worms are probably just getting ready to get inside of these rolls to eat again from inside out. So they're more fresh than I'd like. No smell here, folks. At the very least, it's an earthy smell. So, because I've covered it, of course, with a carbon. When you put it into a composting roll like this, you're covering it in a carbon. And these bins are run dry. The way Vernmenting is designed, the moisture within the container is enough for these worms is enough moisture for the red wigglers. And the material, when all is said and done, here's a roll right here that the worms have gone in and mostly have eaten the 2, and then they'll work their way out into the paper. It's amazing, in my opinion. I've been doing this for many years, so it holds so much possibility for those of us who live off the grid, who live maybe in Antarctica, where it's hard to go outside type thing. If you live in India, you can put a bathroom in every room. And again, I can't stress enough how Joseph Jenkins, who coined the phrase humanor, in his humanor handbook, just is a great inspiration for those of us who want to compost anything and everything. He showed us the way. He showed us that it is okay to compost the no-nos. And so I'm taking all this paper out again. I got a banana in there. Maybe I was eating while I was going downstairs, and I gave him a little something different to eat, right? So this material, when it's all said and done, is kind of like silly sand. Do you guys remember silly sand growing up? The sand, this is kind of what it feels like. It's not too moist. Again, it's run dry, so there's no liquid. Back in the day when I was doing Vernmenting, I had this whole drainage type system that is not needed now, that I've mastered the art of the red wiggler and how it can break down organics faster than hot composting. And again, the science is there, where red wigglers greatly reduce pathogens in like manner that hot composting and cold composting do. We will be talking more about composting or vermiculture or Vernmenting our outputs. And when all is said and done, the material looks amazing. This is kind of what it looks like. We still got some minced paper in there, but I could add some more. This right here, I could add some micro shredded cardboard to this, and I could plant a plant in here easily. And I just want to show you real close. We'll talk more about how I pocket my poo or put a poo in a composting roll. This is designed specifically for a male, as you can tell. And the ones are separated. And the number ones go to my CBCB, my carbon-based composting bin, where temperatures get so high, very high heat for long periods of time. I put a paper, and each time after I've done going number 2, I have to pack it again for the next time I have to go. So very clean. Very rarely do you have to clean the bucket out because, of course, as you can tell, it all gets packed in this composting roll. We'll talk more about that in upcoming videos. And when all is said and done, this is what it looks like in my basement. To the left is my Vernmenting bins for my number 2s. To the right is the top one. Isn't quite done yet, but the bottom I'm trying to raise some Canadian night crawlers. We'll talk more about composting humanure in the very near future. This is Mark with Eve Growing, over and out. We will most certainly heal this planet, one urban farmer at a time.